Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 17 through 18 of RuYi's Royal Love. So, Noble Lady Yi is officially going to be staying with RuYi after her snake encounter, and RuYi is working hard with Hailan to make sure that there will be no more mishaps. When Jia and the Empress are left on their own, I was actually very surprised to find that the Empress didn't have a hand in this. Jia actually did this all on her own. I had assumed this was a plan that both of them came up with to get Yi to RuYi's palace, but the Empress had no idea Jia was going to do this. This seems like a good time to properly introduce her. She is a noble lady, she's been part of the harem since the emperor was a prince, she's Korean and was married to the emperor to strengthen ties between the kingdoms. Though it kinda cracks me up that they chose a Chinese actress, and so her Chinese is flawless.
真是没趣儿.
She is fully on the empress's side, but unlike Hui, she's not blindly devoted. Despite her lower status, she's been the quiet, driving force behind a lot of the decisions Hui and the empress have made. She has mastered the art of getting them to do what she wants without making it seem like she said anything. Anytime the three of them are talking, Jia is controlling the conversation, whether they know it or not. She was the one who gave Hui the idea to blame Hailan for stealing her coal.
真是好心思。嫔妾有什么心思呢？海常在她就是那样的人。
And the one who has been making the Empress more and more paranoid about RuYi stealing her position.
从前她做不成嫡父亲，心里不知多怀恨呢。
And she always goes out of her way to sow discord between Mei and Hui. Not that that needs much help. She was the one who suggested marrying Lian Xin to Eunuch Wang.
王钦的眼珠子可总溜在莲心身上呢。
And on the topic of servants, she's been quietly making Aro think she actually has a chance with the emperor.
阿若，你比宜贵人美貌。
Even when she doesn't speak, you can just see her mind working. Here, the emperor compliments Aro and moves on. The empress doesn't even spare it a thought, but Jia and her maid are observing how Aro reacts. And just a dozen other really small things. Take for instance this throwaway line.
你去上房看看，有些什么点心拿下来。待会儿我请了纯嫔来说话。是。
And then Chun starts pushing for Mei to eat more seafood, and then Mei miscarries. Chun even mentions that Jia was the one who encouraged her to help Mei out, but Jia did it so subtly that no one really connects her to the seafood thing. Then she does the same thing again when Yi is pregnant, framing it as a joke.
纯嫔姐姐，你一向都说有运势多吃鱼虾，怎么到了宜贵人这儿你也不说一声了？真是偏心。
The emperor likes her a lot, partly because she's foreign and that's interesting, but she makes sure to play into that.
这是臣妾母族的红参茶。
She isn't love-struck when it comes to him and knows to plan for her future. She entered the palace when the now-dead consort Zhe was pregnant with the first prince. No one forced her to, but sensing the general vibe, she decided to take a contraceptive to avoid getting any unwanted attention from the ever-jealous and paranoid empress, which worked out because the empress adores her. I like her a lot too. It's almost comical watching her talk to someone like Hui because she is just leagues past anything Hui could even begin to comprehend. Bonus scene, check out Jia clearly not crying during the previous emperor's funeral. Okay, back to the story. Jia tells the empress that she intervened and suggested Yi stay with RuYi because if anything happens to Yi during her pregnancy, the blame will fall on whoever was in charge of keeping her safe. Another interesting relationship here is the empress's head maid, Su Lian, speaking up for Jia because she owes her. The empress originally planned to give Su Lian to Eunuch Wang, but Jia convinced her to choose Lian Xin instead. So, Su Lian owes her big time and will pretty much do anything she asks. Not because she feels like she has to, but because she wants to. Jia is just a master at this. Finally, to put a cherry on this scheme cake, Jia sees Hui and warns her that they need to be wary of RuYi getting even more favor from the emperor if she helps noble lady Yi deliver successfully. Wait, doesn't Aro's father work with your father?
阿若，天色不早了，嫔妾先告辞了。
I love it. With everyone else, Jia is so careful and discreet, but with Hui, she's like, alright dummy, let me spell this out for you. And now Hui's like, wow, I just had a totally brilliant idea all on my own. Yi settles into RuYi's palace. RuYi is hyper vigilant. All the food, clothing, and even charcoal goes through her first. Hailan is also so nice to Yi considering how she used to treat her. They find out that the paint used for renovating Yi's palace was tampered with. That, combined with the heat from Yi's palace, attracted the snakes. Who could have been behind? Jia. It was Jia. Jia suggested her palace be renovated, and suggested Yi burn more coal to keep her body warm.
宜贵人，你可得多烧几个炭盆才是啊。
It was 100% orchestrated from the start to get Yi to RuYi's palace.
谢家贵人关心。
As they need a reliable doctor, Suo Xin suggests her boo, Dr. Zhang. RuYi sees through that immediately.
你是相信他的医术，还是相信他的人？
It's so cute. Yi also believes the rumor that seafood is good for having a healthy son, and since no one has figured out the connection between seafood and Mei's miscarriage, she starts eating a lot too. 3 months in, Yi starts to get headaches and mouth blisters just like Mei did, but the doctors say she's fine. These doctors are shit. How have you frauds not made the connection here? Mei's miscarriage was only a few months ago.
贵人只要按时服用即可。
Okay, to give them the benefit of the doubt. 1, they didn't get a chance to check Mei's baby because it was taken away and buried right away. 2, as viewers, we obviously get clues that they would never see. Also, seafood has never been a problem in the past, so I guess it just never occurs to them to check it. And yet, I'm still annoyed. I know for sure that some of these doctors have to be dedicated OBGYNs who spend 100% of their time keeping these women and their pregnancies safe. It's not even like there are a lot of pregnant women. It was just Mei, and now it's just Yi. This should be your number 1 priority. There are too many Jia schemes to talk about all of them, but here's the big one. Episode 13. Hui finds a servant named Luzi crying because his family is missing after a natural disaster in his hometown. Luzi's brother Fuzi works for RuYi, but he says RuYi hasn't been able to help the brothers find their family. Hui offers to help and feels really smart because now she has a servant who works for RuYi and owes her a huge favor that she can cash in later. But then Luzi drops his act and reports back to Jia's maid. So this must have been set up by Jia to make Hui think she turned Luzi on her own when really he's been under Jia the whole time. Then in episode 17,
油菜是小福子的兄弟小路子。
Luzi is in charge of delivering the seafood to noble Lady Yi while she's living with RuYi, and we see him sneaking about the palace later. So Hui must have cashed in her favor, just as Jia planned, and if the brothers were to get caught, it would lead right back to Hui with no connection at all to Jia. I don't know how Jia keeps track of all this. Does she have like a binder?
家贵人真是不错。
The Empress seems to be really sorry about her sick son, and her and the Emperor begin to grow close again. Our cycle of an Empress can only pretend to care about her son for so long though. Before Second Prince can fully recover, the Empress starts pushing him again. Now that it seems he will never be physically impressive, she's all the more bent on forcing him to become a genius. Unfortunately, that's not something that can be forced. Parenting is hard. I did say before that RuYi is a good mother, and she is, but I have to be fair and admit that First Prince is kind of a nerd. It's a lot easier to be the fun mom when your kid wants to practice calligraphy for fun. Can't pretend that doesn't factor into how easygoing she is compared to the Empress, whose son is, you know, a normal kid.
二婶想睡会儿。
The inevitable happens, and RuYi gets the news that noble Lady Yi is bleeding profusely. RuYi comes to find her passed out. This drama is beautifully shot. But who approved this 1980s soap opera zoom-in? Oh no! The doctors do their best, but the baby dies inside of her and they have no choice but to induce labor to remove the fetus. Not one of these useless doctors has an explanation for what happened. They can touch your wrist and tell you you're a Capricorn, but when it comes to important things, they're always like, I don't know, ghosts maybe? RuYi leaves the room and finds the Emperor reeling at the realization that he's lost yet another child. Actually, more upset for himself than for the child or noble Lady Yi, but Jia gets the news and she's not surprised at all. This is exactly what she planned. But on her way over, she passes out. Once he recollects himself, the Emperor goes to see the doctors. They tell him that the baby was poisoned. Oh no! Meanwhile, Jia finds out that she's pregnant. From the moment Jia suggested Yi stay with RuYi, it was obvious this is where things would end. It sucks though that RuYi and Highland really did everything they could, but it's just impossible to protect yourself from every angle. Even though Hui is the one actually guilty of going through with the plan, can't disregard Jia's part in this. She's so brilliant at not drawing attention to herself. It's not just that there's no evidence, she wouldn't even come to anyone's mind if they were investigating. To be fair, at the end of the day, everyone makes their own decisions. She didn't force Hui to do anything. Still, her powers of manipulation are incredible. This fetus seems to be getting passed about like a hot potato. First Mei, then Yi, and now Jia. We'll see if she can manage to have the coveted first son after the Emperor's ascension.
来得早，不如来得巧。
Till next time, thanks for watching.